Nope. All right, hey everybody. This is Hump Day Hangouts with Semantic Mastery. We got everybody here, literally everybody. We got the mystery fifth member of Semantic Mastery, and this is episode 27. It is the 6th of May, the first Hump Day Hangout in May. So, without any further ado, let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, everyone want to say hi, and by the way, we do have Chris, our developer, on. We forced him to come on so that you guys didn't think we were crazy today, because we've been talking about him every week for the last couple months, and he's on. So say what's up, Chris, so they know you're real.
Hello, Chris here. How you doing?
So what's up, Adam and Marco?
Hey everybody.
Hernan as well.
Hey guys.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Okay, guys, we've got a lot to get into. There's a lot of questions already. By the way, just got a couple things up front. There's a storm brewing right outside my window, so I've got my Chromebook also connected. If something happens and the power drops on me, I should be able to jump in through my Chromebook, but I'm not promising anything. So if it happens, it happens. I'll try to get reconnected. If not, then so be it. You know, I can't control Mother Nature as much as I wish I could.
Yeah, we'll just get going.
Besides that, there's a couple things. Oh, number one, guys, we're like 4 subscribers, YouTube subscribers away from breaking 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and I just saw that like right when I was initiating this live event. So if you guys haven't already, I'm going to drop the subscribe URL onto the events page right now. You'll see it in just a second pop up. If you wouldn't mind, go subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so that we can break that 1,000 mark. It's just kind of a cool milestone, and I would appreciate that. We should definitely be able to get that today without question.
Woohoo! We'll have some ticker tape on the next show.
Yeah. And I'll drink an extra 10 beers for you guys tonight. One for every 100 subscribers.
Go for it.
Also, in case you guys hadn't seen it, we sent out an update to all of the IFTTT SEO Academy buyers, plus anybody that's downloaded the PDF, so that's on our opt-in list. That the YouTube recipes have all been updated, every one of them. Okay, so you guys should have gotten the email already. Most of you that are even attending this are already on our subscriber list for that. Whether you're a purchaser or not, you're probably on the IFTTT PDF list. So you should have already gotten that email, unless you just ignored it, in which case, too bad, you don't get them. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to drop the link on the page right now, the events page, to the updated PDF, so that you guys don't miss it, because all of the recipes have changed for YouTube, and it's very important that you go and update your recipes, because otherwise they're not going to work, and the network is going to be useless for videos. So make sure you do that, please. Yeah, look at that. Jordan Fowler says the 1,000th I can't even say that word, subscriber gets $1 million.
Yeah, and I think Semantic Mastery had something to say about that. Or was it Adam? It's coming in there. It's being slow.
We were actually just talking about that right before we started the broadcast. We said, should we give somebody something that if they're the 1,000th subscriber? And I said, well, I don't know how to track that. And next thing you know, we'll have 20 of you submitting support tickets saying you were the 1,000th subscriber, and we're going to have to deal with that mess. So, no, sorry, Jordan. All right, next thing. So the PDF, guys, I just dropped the link in there. Just go check it out. All the updated recipes are there for the YouTube video stuff. Other than that, I guess we'll get into questions. Is there any other announcements we need to make, Adam?
Not that I can think of right now. Oh, the networks. Duh. After between 5 and 6:30 today, price is going up on the done-for-you networks. So
yeah, right.
You guys have obviously probably seen the emails. If not, you can get our done-for-you networks at the pre-launch price. Otherwise, they're going to be going up by about 15%. So that obviously most of you saw the email earlier. So, anyways, if you want to get that in, you can order those now, and we can kind of store the order, and you can do them when you have all your information. So if that's something you were wondering about, you can do that. You just need to be sure to let us know that's what you want to do. So I'll drop the link to the networks in the event page. Just
note it in the order form in the tag section where it says to put tags so that we can theme your networks. Just put a note in there. Just say, hey, I'm not ready for to actually submit the order yet, but I went ahead and purchased it now. The price is only going up. It's under 15%, guys, that it's going up, so it's not much. It's a very minimal increase in price. And mastermind members, guys, don't worry about it. We're going to work something out for you guys to where you're going to get the pre-launch prices regardless, because that's, you know, part of being a mastermind. But everyone else is just going up, like I said, just between like 10 and 15%. The prices have been set, and it's under 15%. Let's put it that way. So, anyways, if you guys want to jump on them before that, do it today, because at around 6 o'clock we should have the prices updated on the order form. All right. So just before that, get them in. Otherwise, like I said, it's just under 15%, so it's not a big deal. So that said, let's go ahead and get into questions and roll through these, because we got masterclass coming up.
Sounds good.
50 minutes.
And looks like, let's see, Chris Greenwho has got the first question down here. I'm not sure if you're already scrolled down.
Okay, Chris and I were actually corresponding via email earlier today. He says, I'm thinking of giving the DFY done for you networks a go. Some of my questions relate to those, but also the IFTTT approach in general. Is it better to create the IFT? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a good question. Or good questions. Is it better to create the IFTTT network properties over a period of time rather than, say, all of them popping up within a day or two, or does this not matter? In my opinion, it doesn't matter, Chris. It honestly doesn't matter, because they're not all going to index right away anyways. And to be honest with you, like, to me, it doesn't. I haven't seen any issues with it. Okay, although I really haven't. I've tested with some. It hasn't been a formal test. I've done some slowly, because I've just, you know, like sometimes occasionally I'll still create a branded network for like some of my lead gen properties and stuff when I don't just outsource it, and I'll just kind of you know, when I get time I'll create an account here and there. But usually everything is done all at once, because I just hand it over to one of my VAs, and it gets done in a day or two. And I haven't seen any issues with that. So
Sure. And you can think about not a real, but another company. If somebody was having this set up, it'd be done. There's nothing odd about many accounts being set up.
Likewise, if building further rings to reinforce Tier 1, should Tier 2 and Tier 3 pages or any other links be built over a longer, more natural time frame? No. Again, I don't think it matters at all. Number 3, is it therefore possible, advisable to order done for you IFTTT Tier 1 and Contextual Backlink package at the same time? Yeah, if you're absolutely, because the Contextual Backlinks packages that we sell at links.iftttseo.com, that's our network boosting link building service, which can be used for IFTTT networks or for PBNs. Guys, if you have PBNs and you want to power up your PBNs, that service is perfect for that as well. But we do those campaigns over a 1-month period. It depends on what package you order, but it's about a 30-day process before all those links are built anyways. We do not blast them all out in a couple days or a week. That would be stupid. We would be hurting your networks. So we have them dripped out. Guys, those are optimized link building campaigns. So in other words, they've been tried and true. They're tried and true and tested. And that's exactly the same ones that I use for my own networks and what we use at Semantic Mastery. So those are dripped out over about a 30-day period. And it's perfectly okay to order the done-for-you networks. And as soon as those are completed, then you can pass it over to the link building service if that's what you want to do, and we'll build links to it. That's what I do. As soon as I have a network built, it goes from my network building team over to my link building team. And it's just like, step 1, step 2. Okay? Since the emphasis in the IFTTT training seems to be on making the satellite sites, pages, profiles as real and natural looking as possible, I want to be sure that the subsequent haste in getting those links built doesn't become a negative factor. No, again, if you're doing this on your own, just try to use some common sense. If you're giving it to us, we're going to run it through the same process that we use for our own stuff, and it's safe. Estelle, she's got several questions. She told me in the Facebook group to ignore some of these, and I'm assuming it has to do with the video updates, which has been addressed. Mm-hmm. That was the thread that she...
Yeah, that was our first questions here about the YouTube to WordPress and Blogger.
All right, so the next one, is it my understanding that you very rarely link directly from... Okay, that's a valid question. It is my understanding that you very rarely link directly from your PBNs to your money site, and that you sometimes use SAPE links, but except for those occasional links in your IFTTT rings, do you ever link directly to your money site? If so, what type of links? Yes, I've mentioned this many times, Estelle, but I'll cover it again. I use press releases to link to money sites. I use a couple different press release service providers right now. I've used there's several of them that I use, but press releases are always good links. If you know what you're doing, just don't use exact match anchor text. Number one. Number two is I use citations because most all the stuff that I do is local currently. So I'll use citation links, which obviously come from like Yellow Pages and Yelp and all of those citation business directory sites. So those are also very good. And then occasionally I'll get I'll do like bookmarking links and things like that. Sometimes the supplemental links, especially if it's an existing site that already had a backlink profile that I'm trying to dilute anchor text, that sort of thing. Then I'll use like Social Adder or some sort of bookmarking service where SendWire would work, FCS Networker would work, anything like that that I can use to build Web 2.0 style links and social bookmarking style links to dilute anchor text. Okay.
Yeah, if I can chime in here, Bradley, I like to, if possible, I like to link from manual properties to my money sites whenever possible. So we know that IFTTT were set up manually. If I set up some Web 2.0s also manually, or some PBNs that are manually set up, so the more quality the link is, the closer should be to your website. So anything manual will go as long as it's quality, because you want to pass a review, and you want to try to pass a review for your site and for your tier 1 sites. So that's what I would do anyways. Directories also work. Local directories, they work great as long as they are manual as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about citations. So
yeah.
Also, we just in the mastermind, we just updated and we created a new little mini training series on sites that are great for domain authority boosting, and there was a handful of sites in there, and we're going to continually add to that. I think we had 6 sites in there. It was 5, and then we added a 6th one, and then one of our mastermind members pointed out another one that's good. We're going to add that to it, and we're going to continually add to that as we go. So you guys, if you're interested in a lot of additional manual places that you can set up very quickly and get a nice, powerful link back to your site, then I would suggest you join the mastermind, because we got some training in there specifically addressing that. We're going to continually add to that. Okay, next one. Estelle says, I want to install the Yoast plugin on a new client site that already has many evergreen blog posts published on it. I want to change the structure of a URL that currently has the date in it. Yeah, that's an ugly URL, I'm sure. And then submit all the articles again to my IFTTT networks. Will 301 redirects be fine? Yes, you can redirect 301 redirect the old URL to the new URL. That way you keep any link juice that's flowing into that old URL. So you absolutely want to do that. I recommend, I don't have time to go through this article, Estelle, so you mentioned that the advanced permalinks plugin, but it hasn't been updated in 2 years, and ratings aren't great. I don't want to mess up the site, so is it safe to? What I would do is just use simple 301 redirects. I use that plugin like on almost every single site, because there's invariably almost every site I end up making a change, and I want to keep the inbound links going to the correct URL, so you have to use a 301 redirect. And so Simple 301 Redirects is a plugin that you can download and install. It's free. It is updated often. There is also a bulk extension that you can also add on to it. It's another download. It's free. But I'm not going to log into a WordPress dashboard, but if I did, I could show you. If you do Simple 301 Redirects, the top 2 plugins, when you search for those plugins, the top 2 that they're going to be side by side is Simple 301 Redirects, and then the one next to it is the bulk URL extension that you can add to it, and then you can actually take a CSV file and upload it that way, where you take your old URL in column A and your new URL in column B, and you just upload it that way, and it will automatically 301 redirect all of those URLs for you. Very quick. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Rainier says, I have a rough idea of what a recipe is from hearing you guys talk about it, but I do not have a clear definition of it. Can you give a brief explanation of what a recipe is and why it is called that? Yes.
Hey, Bradley?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can give him a real quick explanation for that.
Okay, and then I'll long-winded elaborate on it. So please do.
It's just a good way or a nice way of calling it an if-then-else statement, something else. Because it's just part of a Boolean expression.
It's a trigger and an action is all it is.
Yeah.
right? And that's just what, like, if in Rainer, this is specifically for you. I'm inside IFTTT. And a recipe, you can see my recipes, create recipe. This is if recipes. If I were to create a new recipe, so let's do this so you'll get the idea. A recipe is basically just it's a cause and effect. It's a trigger and an action. And so if I go to create a new recipe, so let's say if this, which I'm going to create the trigger, see how it says choose trigger channel? So let's say I want to use my RSS feed. So I'm going to say if this, new feed item, and I'm going to put an RSS feed in there. Let's see if I've got one in here. We'll just use one of these from one of my Web2 accounts. Click create trigger. So now what this is doing is anytime it detects a new feed item from Pamela's david.wordpress.com feed, okay, which essentially means what IFTTT every 15 minutes will ping this feed and see if there's any new entries in it that weren't there the last time they pinged it. And if that's the case, then they'll go ahead and the trigger or the action will fire. And in this case, we're going to set the action. Let's say if this, let's see, that was from WordPress. Let's say that I wanted to just post it to my blog. I'm going to create a post. And so now you can see that these are the ingredients. So you asked what the ingredients are. The ingredients are just whatever the trigger action allows, which we set in the previous step. The trigger action will determine which ingredients are available. So for example, you'll see entry title, entry URL, so this would be the post URL. The feed title would be the title of the actual RSS feed, which is generally the blog title. And then the feed URL, which would be the RSS feed URL. So you see all that? Those are the ingredients that are provided by an RSS feed as a trigger. If you have a YouTube trigger, then it's going to be different. It's going to be the title, the video title, video URL, which really doesn't work for anything anymore now. There's an embed code. There's you know, a couple other ingredients for video stuff. So my point is that's it. So it's just a trigger and an action. They call it a recipe. The items that you can select are called ingredients. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that's clear. All right. I'm going to actually exit out of that because I don't want to screw up my syndication network with that particular recipe. All right. So hopefully that was concise and clear enough. Dion says, if you are trying to lease sites and videos, should you create a channel and a site for each city you want to hit with IFTTT rings to follow, or do you want to build one channel for my niche and rank the videos for each city through siloing playlists and build the persona networks around the channel? In short, if you were going to scale lease lead gen sites in multiple cities, what would be the optimal path? Well, that's entirely up to you, Dion. It depends. It really depends. Personally, I would go with one channel and use playlists if you're not doing anything spammy, because you're going to get a lot more traction as you build one channel up. You build the authority of one channel, you're going to get better results with it. But if you're doing anything spammy at all, then I would separate them by channels. Because otherwise, because what happens if you have all your eggs in one basket, and you end up getting slapped, or the account gets terminated, or even if you catch a warning, a strike from YouTube, which will limit your functionality of your YouTube channel, stuff like that, it's going to hurt. You know, it'll be very painful. So it depends on your strategy. If you're using any sort of spammy tactics, then I would separate by channel. But if you're going to be kind of clean on that end, you know, as far as like taking care of your channel, not doing a bunch of spammy videos, not keyword stuffing, not buying fake views, all that kind of stuff. If you're going to stay clean on the YouTube side of things, then I would go ahead and do everything under one channel, because you can gain a lot more traction, you build a lot more authority, which means you'll be able to have better results.
Yeah, and if I can chime in on here, that I've seen both. I usually go for example, for a state channel. And then you have playlists that could be either niches or either state.
Both.
Yeah, or either niches or either cities, or the other way around. You know, niches channel that they go state deep via playlist. You can silo it the way you want it, but it also depends on how much of an asset your channel has become. Because as Bradley says, it all depends on how much of an investment you have in time and in money in your channel, because once you have it flagged, it's not something that you can take it back easily. So
that's right.
You need to be careful over there.
That's why I recommend, if you're going to be serious about that, you know, about your business, then if you're going to go serious with a channel too, you build an associated website, and you actually use your associated website as your main hub. YouTube will host your videos, and that'll be where you put your videos and stuff. But you're also you have an associated website as well, so that you have posts on your website. Because what will happen is once you build authority to your website, you'll see your website URLs. The posts on your website will start ranking as well. And if your YouTube channel still gets shut down, yeah, it'll still hurt because the videos will all be blank. You'll have to replace them, but you could do it with another channel, and your website, it won't be hurt from it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's clear. You just have to swap out embed codes from one channel to the other in order to replace the videos on your website. But that's why I recommend that you have an associated website, or a companion website to go with it. Personally, like I said, I've built out state. I recommend going with a niche-based or industry-based channel, and then because then you can go nationwide with it, right? And you can scale a hell of a lot quicker. I've mentioned this many, many times, but you can scale a lot quicker if you stay focused in one niche, because then you've done all the keyword research, the market data, the hot buttons, the demand, the language or the vocabulary of that particular market. So you can scale a lot quicker that way, and then you can silo by state or by city, however you want to do it. But if you want to go by location and you're targeting multiple businesses, then I would recommend going on a state level, because then at least you can cover an entire state. And you can use city-based silos or playlists, and also industry-based silos. And you can use both at the same time. A video can be in more than one playlist. Okay? All right, Gary says something's wrong. Yeah, Gary, the replay is always going to be posted on the current event page until the time of the event, the time that the broadcast starts, and then the new broadcast will replace the replay. Okay? Chris says, oh, he just was basically saying what I just said.
Let's see, Brian looks like the next one.
Okay, I am only planning on having 3 to 5 IFTTT theme networks with 3 personas per network. In other words, only going out 2 tiers. Is it worth the investment in FCS Networker? I did some quick math, and I see the benefit in doing it myself if the networks begin to generate me money to cover the cost. Yeah, I mean, you got to think about several things, Brian, when it comes to that. Is it worth the investment? Yeah, it's totally worth the investment, but you also have to think, besides just the monetary investment, the time investment. Okay, you've got to consider that too. Is if you have the time to learn the tool, which it's not just the cost of FCS Networker, there's going to be, you have to also consider the cost of like content creation, whether you get Content Machine or Article Builder, that's a cost. There's proxies, there's a server if you're going to be running FCS Networker a lot. I don't know how much you'd be running it, but if you're going to be running it a lot, you're probably going to want to put it on a server. So, I mean, there's, a VPS. So there's a lot of additional costs that go into link building tools that people don't consider, because all they look at is the cost of the tool itself. But there's a lot of additional costs that go into it, and you'll see that. And so, plus, not only just the monetary cost, what about your time commitment as well? Do you want to take the time to learn how to use the tool and to learn how to integrate all of the other services that are required to run the tool, and then manage the link building campaigns? If you do, if you're okay with that and you have the time, then yeah, it would be worth it. If not, outsource it. I recommend outsourcing it. Whether it's to us or not, I don't care. I'm just telling you. Personally, I've never run the tool a day in my life because I didn't want to invest the time. I paid somebody else that was already good at it. And to me, I've focused on higher level things that produced more revenue to me than just the link building aspect, if that makes sense. Okay. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you only have 3 to 5, I mean, it really depends. If you, again, I think if all you were going to do was 3 to 5 and you did not ever plan on scaling beyond that, I have a feeling if you started being successful with those 3 to 5 that you'd end up scaling beyond that anyways. I don't know why you would limit yourself, but if not, what I'm saying is that you could, it would make sense to boost those networks and maybe pay somebody else to do it, unless you think that you're going to continue to use the tool, and in which case then I would, say go ahead and do it yourself. But again, I don't recommend that unless you have the time and the desire to do so. Brian says also, can you make a recommendation on hosting? I'm leaving HostGator. Yeah, good, wise man, Brian. I'm leaving HostGator, and I posted this question in Facebook group, and I only got one suggestion. You suggested 2 options in advanced training, and I don't want to reveal here. Just wondering if you can comment on this here, or if you can shoot me an email or a Facebook message. Brian, I recommend for money sites, Liquid Web. Personally, I've tested literally probably 40 or 50 different hosts over the last several years, and out of all of them, my favorite by far for money sites is Liquid Web. Okay, but if you're doing like PBN hosting and stuff like that, there was several different options that I recommend, which would be like No Name Internet, nonameinternet.com.
Brain Matter.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Brain Matter.
Brain Matter is another one. I actually haven't used Brain Matter hosting for PBN sites. I've used them for lead gadget sites and like SERP Shaker sites and stuff, and it's great for that. I love it for that. But they do have PBN hosting solution as well. So I'm sure that I know those guys very, very well. So you know, they're another good solution. NoNameInternet.com. No Name Internet is Andreas Pastor, and he also has a couple other new PBN style hosting companies. Microhost, is that it, Hernan? Or did Hernan already drop? No, he said he was leaving.
Yeah, I think he just took off.
Okay. Here's the link to No Name. Or did you already drop it, Adam?
I'll put it in there. I mean, it's easy, guys. No Name Internet. That's
NoNameInternet.com.
Yep.
And he's got several others. And Andreas Pastor, if you like, again, I don't know if it's for PBN or money sites, but for money sites, like I said, I recommend Liquid Web. It's a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for, and I'm sure that's why you're leaving HostGator. So, but Liquid Web is fantastic support. They have really good uptime. Their servers are good. They don't overcrowd their servers. I highly recommend them. Rob R says, hi everyone, I'm starting my first network and I'm getting the components straight. Should all Web 2s in my T1 network be branded, or should they all be the same brand as my money site, like the Robert Miller example in your Semantic Mastery course? You mean the IFTTT SEO Academy course. The money site will push out to my network via RSS feed of each new publication, and also when the new money site publications change to different pages, new silo, and the related new pages in that silo, I just changed that first RSS recipe component, correct? Okay, Rob, a couple things. Number one, yes, your branded network should be branded after your website. It should be the same. It should be an extension of your website, every one of those Web 2 and social media accounts. All right, you're not trying to hide any footprints here. You want to take ownership and claim those and link those back. All the interlinking should be done using your main website URL as the primary blog or primary website URL for all of those properties. You should have the same graphics, the same name, if possible. Sometimes usernames aren't always possible to get, but try to keep it close as possible. You want to make them extensions of your brand, okay, number one. Number two, pages do not syndicate to IFTTT networks unless you use a specific plugin for RSS pages or RSS includes pages, something like that. RSS is will push posts out, but not pages unless you use a plugin for that. So just keep that in mind, because that comes up a lot where people say, I connected everything up and I created pages on my site and nothing's syndicated. That's because you created pages. If you create posts, if you publish posts, it'll push. Right, it'll syndicate. So keep that in mind. If you do change anything, then yeah, remember, if you're using your RSS feed as your trigger, if you change websites or whatever for whatever reason, let's say that you go from your blog on your main domain to a blog on a subdomain, so like blog.mydomain.com, let's say you do that, well then your RSS feed's going to change, the RSS feed URL. So you would need to update that in all of your recipes. Okay, but it's a simple fix. It only takes a second to do it. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Also, should have asked this. Also, should I use a proxy IP to set up branded network regarding my prior question? Thanks. No, if it's for a branded network that like if you're just setting this up for your own business, for example, then no, you don't need a proxy. You can create everything. Just clean your browser. Use Firefox like we talk about in the course. Clear your browser of cache and cookies. Run CCleaner. And then just go ahead and create the accounts on your current IP. That's fine. It's not a problem. It's only if you're creating multiple networks that you need to worry about using proxies. Or if you're using virtual assistants that are out of the U.S., then you need to give them U.S. proxies, right? Which is why I need to do it. That because we create so many networks. Okay. But if you're doing this for yourself, or you're just doing a couple of them, guys, no, you can just use your own IP. Don't worry about the proxy stuff. Frank Thomas says, when syndicating the IFTTT rings, what are the best methods? Is there a difference on syndicating the Tier 1 and Tier 2 rings? I'm not really following that. I'm personally interested in getting FCS Networker, but would like to hear your recommendations. We don't syndicate the rings, we syndicate to the rings, Frank. So I'm not sure if just the terminology is wrong in this, is not, we're not jiving in terminology is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just asking if there's a difference between how you syndicate to Tier 1 as opposed to Tier 2.
Well, only in this, and I'll try to cover this very, very quickly. Let me show the tiered networks.
And while we're talking, I'll go ahead and say I'll pitch in my 2 thumbs up for FCS Networker. I think it's an incredible tool. It's fairly easy to use, but again, if you don't want to invest the time, consider the time. You do need to spend a few hours figuring it out, but as far as that goes, it's fairly straightforward, and the videos, tutorials are pretty good at explaining things, but it will take you a few hours to figure it out.
Yeah. Frank, for your YouTube or blog for Tier 1, so like whatever you're syndicating to Tier 1, that's going to be your main money site content or your main YouTube channel content, right? But Tier 2, and I know that people say that this graphic is confusing. We've covered this multiple times. We have this in the FAQs and the knowledge base. If you go to support.semanticmastery.com, we have a knowledge base there, and in the FAQ section, we have this covered as well. But your Tier 2 networks, they're going to be syndicating content. Like from your Tier 2 networks are here, right? And this is your Blogger from Tier 1. This is your Tumblr from Tier 1. And this is your WordPress from Tier 1. So this content that comes from your main blog or your main YouTube channel is going to push or publish itself to Blogger, Tumblr, and WordPress along with all the other Tier 1 properties. And then Blogger is going to actually be the content source for the Tier 2 network here. Tumblr is going to be the content source or the trigger for this network. And WordPress.com is going to be the content source or trigger for this network. So there is no real difference in syndicating between here and here because it's all automated when you set it up. Once it's set up, it's 100% automated. The only difference is on Tier 2, if you're doing this for blogs instead of YouTube channels, if you're syndicating blog content instead of YouTube channels for your Tier 2 networks, you also want to set up a few additional trigger recipes with other content sources so that it's not always posting content only from your own content source or your own blog. You want to do that for a couple different reasons. Number one, to hide a footprint or to kind of mask a footprint, really. Number two, so that you can keep these networks populated with content that's related on a regular basis, which will keep them active and actually building more page authority and more trust. All on autopilot, okay? So hopefully that was clear. FCS Networker, yes, I recommend getting it if you have the time and the desire to do it. Then yeah, I recommend it. If not, you can outsource it. Monique's got several good questions. Let's run through these. She says, why use feedburner? And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to and I didn't get time. I'm gonna pause the screen for a minute while I get logged into a couple things because I want to cover this feedburner thing. So let me just stop sharing my screen for a moment. And you guys will have to look at me while I log in.
In the meantime, we'll sing some songs and tell some stories and just all sorts of fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, kind of anticlimactic. I got no songs, so.
Show tunes, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna log in to one of my accounts here, the one that I just did all the YouTube updated training for, and quickly go to feedburner, and I'll show you what we're gonna talk about. Feedburner is incredibly powerful, right? It's a Google property, so why wouldn't you use it? Right, is my question. And I'll show you what we're going to do here. Let me grab the screen. Okay, so you guys have heard of domain authority stacking. Network Empire coined that term. It's a great term for what we do, but essentially we're taking and compounding domain authority, right? And so we try to think of various ways that we can compound domain authority and push it back to our content source, which could be our website, or it could be a web 2 and eventually funnels back to a website, or it could be our YouTube channel, whatever. The idea is to piggyback on the authority of other properties. So my point is why wouldn't you use feedburner? When you take a look at feedburner, it's showing a domain authority of 100 here anyways, but like what I did was I just grabbed, I'll show you the raw feed. This is just from the Tumblr URL, from howtoseotraining.tumblr.com. This is the RSS. If we just want to go take a look at the blog, that's fine. This is the blog. Okay, so this is one of my video syndication networks, and in fact, all the updated training for the YouTube video, the YouTube recipes, was done using this particular example, okay, of this network. So, if I take this RSS feed here, which already, because it's Tumblr, you can see is a 99 domain authority, very, very strong. But I'm going to go ahead and take this RSS feed, copy it, go over to FeedBurner, and I'm going to burn this new feed. So just paste it in, click Next. Now you'll see the feed titles, How to SEO. It's giving me a feed address. I can put a keyword in there if I wanted. I honestly could care less about that, but you can if you want. I'm going to click on Next. Now this is my new feed. This is a Google FeedBurner feed. If I go open this link into a new tab, now you can see I've got, let's see, a domain authority of 97, but look at this feed. Isn't that nice? That now we've created a new feed out of the RSS, the Tumblr RSS feed. So now we've got two feeds that are pointing to the same links, and this is a 97 domain authority that has now got the content from a 99 domain authority. It doesn't matter. You can stack them any which way. You can stack from high to low or whatever. But the point is now we have two separate feeds that we could actually submit to directories and aggregators, RSS directories and aggregators, right? We also have two different feeds that we could use to actually syndicate, syndicate content from if we wanted, okay? So, and it would be unique because they're unique feeds. The content's the same, but the feeds are different. So this is important because, again, it stacks. In other words, we're actually passing some domain authority from Google, or FeedBurner, because Google owns FeedBurner, to the RSS, to the Tumblr property. Okay, number one. But remember, these all funnel back. In this case, this is a YouTube network, so this is actually funneling back to YouTube. So we're passing from Google FeedBurner to Tumblr, and then from Tumblr to YouTube, right? Does that make sense? That's why it's very, very powerful. So we use it because it's a way to stack domain authority, to use that particular phrase. What are important things we need to know about using FeedBurner as a primary source of RSS feeds? Nothing other than there's a few things that you can do within FeedBurner. Let's go back over here. Once you've created the new feed, which is here, if you go right here where it says Next, or skip directly to Feed Management, you can click on that. And then if you go to Optimize, what I like to do is I like to enable Smart Feed, activate. Then I go to Publicize, and I activate Ping Shot. So click Ping Shot and activate. And then there's some other things that you can do. For example, like if we go back over to Optimize, if it's for a local business type, syndication network, you can actually add coordinates and things in there, which is called geotagging your feed, which is pretty strong, because you can actually add geotag or metadata into your feed. So it's very powerful for local stuff. Link Splicer, there's a bunch of stuff in here. I haven't even played with all of them recently, but see how you can actually feed in like your delicious URLs, excuse me, My Web 2.0, I'm not sure what that one is exactly, but Delicious, you can actually insert your Delicious links, bookmarks into this feed so it splices them together. That's also why we use, excuse me, Yahoo Pipes, because Yahoo Pipes you can do a lot of crazy stuff with, splicing feeds or feed braiding, as Network Empire calls it, feed braiding, but it's splicing feeds or blending feeds is basically what we're talking about. All right, and Publicize, there's a couple other things you can do in here, like Socialize, Buzz Boost. There's a few other things you can play with. Okay? All right, excuse me. If not, is there a free WordPress plugin? I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Let me go back down to where I was. What are the pros and cons? I don't see any cons for using FeedBurner. None whatsoever. What are the best settings when setting up FeedBurner feeds? I just showed you those. There are boxes to check. Which one should we click? If a person wanted to use FeedBurner RSS feed on their WordPress blog, how would it best to set that up? There's a FeedBurner plugin that you can install, which will basically replace your current WordPress feed with the FeedBurner feed. You can do that if you'd like. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I use both, is what I do. You know what I mean? So what I'll do is I always keep a spreadsheet. Monique, if you've taken IFTTT SEO Academy, or if you're in it, go to the Advanced RSS Academy training section, and I mean we cover all of this extensively in there. That was one of the bonus courses that was included, still is included with IFTTT SEO Academy. It's called Advanced RSS Academy. Go through that training. There's like 18 videos in there. I go through everything you could ever want to know about RSS feeds and splicing them, including FeedBurner and Yahoo Pipes and many others. Okay. Monique says, does the WPMain Wordpress Plugin allow a person to clone a site on one domain to another domain? Yes. Yes, it does. There's an extension for that, a cloning extension.
Yeah, but not the free plugin. The base plugin does not allow you to clone. So you can get the plugin, but then you've got the cloning as an extension that is not free.
And I think the extensions are
they're cheap. It's 10 or 15
$19 or $29.
Oh yeah, maybe it's gone up, but it's worth it. One cloning of the site is worth it.
Yeah.
So.
And when you get an extension, you have unlimited use of it. So.
Yep.
You know, there's some I know that are 19 and some I think that are $29, but they're totally worth it. And they got package deals all the time where if you like buy 3 extensions, you get 3 for the price of 2 and stuff like that. They've always got like offers and specials that they're promoting, so totally worth it. If not, is there a free WordPress plugin that can handle that? There's a lot of cloning plugins. I don't use any of them. There's a lot of good ones. I use a script called Replicator Pro to clone sites that I've just been using for years, so honestly I can't give you any suggestions. Does anybody know of any free plugins for cloning?
Gosh, I don't know. I just stick with main WP. It's just been my go-to.
Okay. Should I worry about plugins that can access all my settings? I'm not sure. I mean, main WP can, but it gives you a control panel, which is good because you can access all your other sites and plugins from other sites all from one location. Can you talk more about how great main WP is and all it can do for us webmasters? I heard about it here first, and I'm interested in knowing the best settings to use. That's beyond the scope of this particular Hangout, just because that would be a little bit too involved. That's something that maybe we should cover in like the mastermind or a separate training or something like that about how we use it. It's great for like PBN management.
Yeah. There's so much it can do. So you've got the cloning ability. That's a plugin. You've got content posting, content management. There's stuff like you can do links based on anchor text. You can do your backups on the sites. You can do off-site backups. Trying to think of what else. It does automatic updating or not. You can do manual updates. You can do, by plugin, by themes, things like that. So I mean, it's well worth it. I think you can get it. I don't care what it costs. It's a steal. I mean, I got it like
robust.
A year and a half ago for super cheap, and I think it's still what the base plugin is free, and then the extensions, are $30 or less, I think. So.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. Very robust. Just spend some time on their website, looking at what they have available, looking at through the extensions. And you'll see. I mean, I use it extensively. I've got 3 really large networks that I manage with main WP.
Yeah, the only thing you need to do, and they tell you about this in big block letters, I think you can do something like a click heat map, and they tell you if you enable that feature, it will leave a footprint. But I believe it is disabled by default because they are aware of this and they make it very aware. So it's one of those things you don't have to really worry about. They make it obvious. So if you do it, it's your own fault.
All right, next question from Ivana. She says that she has received the updated recipes. However, I've noticed that Google Drive is not posting. Then there's an issue with your specific recipe, Ivana, because it does post, and I will prove this right now. I actually pulled this up. All the testing that I did yesterday when I updated all of those recipes, I spent 6 hours doing testing on all of them, guys, and all of them work. The ones that you guys have, that we just gave you in the update in the email, we posted in the Facebook group, and we just posted on this events page at the start of the Hangout. Those are the recipes that have gone through all the tests, and they've made it, okay? And these 3 posts right here were from 3 posts that I posted yesterday to this network. This is the Google Drive public folder that I created. If I click on this, you'll see this is the post, just like it's supposed to post. And if we actually go click on the YouTube link, you'll see the publish date. Let me pause it. You'll see streamed live on May 5th, 2015. Today is May 6th, 2015. So these are absolutely posting. There's an issue with your specific recipe, which means maybe your folder path is incorrect. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe you need to reauthorize or reactivate the channel, the Google Drive channel. That sometimes is the problem. If you have problems with specific recipes, my first recommendation is to always go reactivate the action channel. So the channel that you're trying to post to that's giving you problems, go reactivate it. So just go edit the channel, and it will actually reauthorize it. Will ask to reauthorize and go through that motion or those steps, because a lot of times that's going to fix the problem. If that doesn't fix the problem, then check your recipe to make sure that all of the ingredients or fields that need to be entered are entered in correctly. That's all I can do to recommend for you, Ivana, because they are working. Okay, I wanted to cover a couple things because let's see, Greg in our Facebook group, and I didn't mean to really throw you under the bus, Greg, but you had a question. You submitted a support ticket about the RSS plugin not posting, you're not updating with old posts, and in the support ticket you said that you changed the publishing date to like yesterday and it wasn't updating or triggering the IFTTT. Well, that's not how you do it. The way that you would do it, and I've covered this before, and Adam, this is one of them that I wanted you to timestamp, please.
Can do.
For FAQs. But what you, in order for it to work, and until our new plugin comes out, which will be shortly, that where you won't have to worry about this, you still have to do this manually right now. And what you need to do is go into your post. If you have a post that's already been published and you want it to push out through the RSS plugin back across your network again, okay? Then what you need to do is you need to make sure your server time, right, is synced to your local times. And that's a WordPress setting. Go to Settings, General in WordPress. Make sure that your time zone is selected properly. And then you go back over to your post, edit the existing post, and go to the publish date and change that to schedule it to a future publishing date. And what I typically will do is schedule it for 2 or 3 minutes ahead of whatever the current time is. And then you click Update the Post. And when you update the post, you'll see that it will go from published to scheduled. Okay? And then once that 2 or 3 minutes has passed, just refresh your browser and from the editor screen, and you'll see that it will have republished. And then go check your feed. It will have been inserted to the very top of your feed, and it will trigger the IFTTT networks. I know it because I've done it 1,000 times. So you can't just change it to yesterday's date or even today's date from 10 minutes ago. It has to be, you have to change it from published to scheduled, and schedule it to a future publishing date, which could be 2 minutes from the current time. And then after those 2 minutes have passed, just refresh your screen, and you'll see that it will be the top post in your RSS feed, and it will trigger your IFTTT recipes. Okay?
Hey, Bradley.
Yep.
I just wanted to say thanks to Gary Kerwan in the UK, because he just posted a free cloning plugin.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Gary is the man. He's working on a project with us that will be released soon, and you guys wait till you see that. I'm not even going to tease you with it because it's too much to tease you with right now. Reminder, cover the difference in Google Plus pages again. I want to cover this again very quickly. I've got 2 pages open. This is a question that came up. Adam, I saw you actually assign a ticket to me or ask me if we wanted to create a canned response for it, but this is the other one I'd like for you to timestamp for FAQs, please.
Cool.
One of the questions that comes up often is people say, I got my Google Plus page doesn't have a links section. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is right now, because we have covered this several times before, but this is, from now on, if this question comes up, you're going to get this response from today's Hangout, because we're going to make this an FAQ and just drop the link in to this particular thing. Guys, we have 2 Semantic Mastery Google Plus pages, because we have the regular business page, which is what we create when we do the IFTTT networks, and then we have a local page. You see the difference here, guys? What's the difference? The local page has an address and a phone number. Okay, let's go to the About tab. You see I'm on the About tab of both? The Google Plus business pages, which we cover in the training, has a link section. See that? A Google Plus local page, which has an address and a phone number, and also has a map, does not have a link section. That's the difference. Okay, Google Plus local pages do not have that functionality. I'm sorry, it is what it is. So there's no way to do it. You can add links into the description, but I would not spam your description up with a bunch of links. Okay? You still can connect a local page to your IFTTT syndication network through Buffer, and you still can syndicate content post to it. If you're doing this for local business and you want to use their local page, then I recommend that you do that, because use the local page instead of this page. You'll lose this functionality. But so what? You've got the local page, which you're trying to rank in maps anyways, I'm sure. And if you have this connected to your IFTTT network where you're syndicating your posts to it via Buffer, then the constant post updates are actually going to make your maps listing stronger. Okay, so if you're doing this for maps optimization as well, I recommend using the local page if you have it. If you don't have a local page, don't worry about it. Use this, because then you get this. Remember, you still get all of your links tied together in other places, such as you could do it with your Google Plus profile instead of your page, your profile. You still have a link section, a contributor to section, and a profile link section and everything, right? So you can still get that about page filled up with all of your other links for the interlinking, the interconnecting through your profile page. Plus you got YouTube, right? Your YouTube about page. You've got Gravatar. There's about.me. That's another one. It's not included in the training, but you can figure that out. Go to about.me and set up an account there. It's another great place where you can tie all of your links together. Okay? There's plenty of places that you can do that. So if you lose that because you're using your local page, it's not a big deal, right? Because there's other places you can make up for it, and I think the benefits of posting to your local page outweigh the drawback of not having your link section. Okay? All right, Gil says, concerning CrowdSearch, how does it work for local business clients and or sites? Gil, I'm not going to spend any time on this question only because we did an entire webinar about this. Was it last week, guys, or 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the only part, though, of his question is interesting because he said he didn't have great results, and so I think it was worthwhile to bring it up just to talk about possible issues that you could have.
Well, yeah, but so Gil, forgive me, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. What I'm trying to say is, like, if you didn't have good results, it's probably because you weren't using it the way that, like, we teach how to use it. That's why. So if you go watch the webinar from the webinar that we did was an entire hour specifically about how to use crowdsearch.me and how I use it in my local business, and I'm seeing outstanding results. That will show you exactly why. I guarantee you probably weren't using it like what I showed in that webinar. So if you watch that, that'll probably answer your questions.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong too. I think
right
that
now.
well, yeah, the webinar is inside the CrowdSearch, right? They put that, they used that video and put it on the inside.
But he said that he had he's not a member anymore. So
yeah, well, he may still have the login. Anyways, if you do, yeah, it's there. So
let's see, where is the CrowdSearch one that we did? Was that episode 25? I believe it was.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
Bradley.
can post it afterwards.
Yeah.
I have the video. I'm gonna post it in the.
This is it. Yeah. Okay. You've already got it.
Yeah, it's already up. I just posted it.
Okay. Episode 25, and Marco just posted it. Go back and watch it. And you guys can find those on our channel too. Just go to youtube.com/semantic mastery and subscribe while you're there. And then you can watch the replays there. Yeah, okay, the demo's already been done, Gil. Please go watch that. That will help you. Jordan, good, nice try, Jordan. $1 million. He's our 1,000th subscriber. As requested, can you put a column on IFTTT spreadsheet there that shows latest changes of date, so we can go see the last changed recipes? The account workbook template always is going to have the most updated recipes, Jordan. Always, okay? And I put notes in there. In fact, let me just go open that up so I can point it out again, because I've mentioned this several times. I just want to make sure everybody's clear about this. The account workbook template, which you can access from inside the IFTTT SEO Academy training area. If we look at the recipes, these recipes are always going to be the most updated. If you hover over the cell, you'll see notes that I put in there. For example, these are 2 new recipes that I added yesterday. And you can see that I have a note for this one, like Pinboard. This is a paid site, so it is optional. These will be updated. I'm not going to put notes in there as like the date that it was updated, because honestly, just go check the URL. You can see the number in the URL. If the number is different from what you have, it means it's been updated. It will be a higher number, right? The more recent ones have higher numbers. Okay? All right. Let's move on. We've got about 2 more minutes, and that's it. We got to wrap it up.
All right.
I closed the contract yesterday because the price was going up, so I don't mind. If anything, it helped. That must be Daryl ordered a new network, I'm sure. Joanna says, I have a branded blog just starting IFTTT. Should I only use IFTTT for all new blog posts and videos, or should I go back and link all the older posts and videos as well? Well, you can, Joanna. I mean, if you're doing a lot of active blogging and stuff, then I wouldn't, don't worry about it, because you're already naturally going to be building new links with all your new posts. It just depends. Like some people that obviously don't do a lot of blogging, if they have a dozen blog posts already, then they might want to go back and change the post date, like we just talked about, so that you can syndicate it. But if you're doing an active, if you're regularly publishing new content, then don't worry about it, because it would just be a waste of time. And honestly, I would just go forward with what you got. Once you got it connected, just move forward. Okay, because you'll be creating new links with every post, right? If you don't have a blog posting schedule, like where you're actively publishing new content all the time, then yeah, I would go back and just change the post date and to push them out. Okay. Let's answer two more. We'll go Rainer and Jaunty, and then that's it.
Scroll up through those. Those two were in replies to some other stuff.
Okay.
So let's see. It looks like Jordan's got the next one.
Another question. When I IFTTT and RSS blog post from my base site into WordPress.com, Blogger, or Tumblr, and it imports body of article, is that going to hammer me for duplicate content? No, not at all. If you have an attribution link. Okay, if you're citing the source, it will not ding you for duplicate content. Okay, that's the whole point. Like just like press releases, right? Press releases, they don't get changed or spun. It's the same thing that gets picked up by 350, 400 media sites and reposted, but they will usually have a link back to citing the original source where it was originally published. Right? It's the same thing. If you're posting, you're just sharing your own content across your own networks, right? And it's an extension of your brand. That's the whole point. Say, okay, this WordPress.com site is part of my main brand. So if it's, my business is the name of my blog is my business, and I have mybusiness.wordpress.com, and I'm submitting the same content to there with an attribution link saying this post was originally posted here, then you're just citing the source. Okay? I'm using WordPress plugin FTR. I don't know what that means. Not sure what that means. I think that's it, guys. We got to go because we got 3 minutes until the masterclass starts. So anybody that did not get their questions answered, just save them for next week. Or if you're in any of our other groups, post them in the other groups, and we'll get to them over the next couple days. Appreciate everybody being here. And this was a good hangout. A lot of people here.
Yeah, man, lots of stuff to cover today. Wow. This was all over.
Wow, very good. So, and I think we passed 1,000 subscribers by now. I see Zane's already a subscriber. Zane, go subscribe. He's already a subscriber. So, all right, guys. Well, everybody else, we'll see you on Masterclass in about 3 or 4 minutes for another hour of SEO goodness.
Awesome. See you, everybody.
We'll see you all.
Yeah, bye.